Hi, this is Julie at Love's Beginning with a talk called The Help That Is Truly Needed. And the first idea I was given is their density is your density. I think as we go along and we become more willing to notice how we're feeling, and we notice how thinking of another, looking at another, being with another, talking to another, in any way whatsoever, can bring on this feeling of density. Through relationship, we notice our projection, we notice our self-hatred, self meaning any self, because my hatred of my separate self is my hatred of your separate self. So, hey, as ego, I hate you, right? But because that's separation, hate, and fear. But as I am, of course, I love you because we're joined, and love is what joins us. So the hatred, the fear, that's the false, and the love, that's the true. It can take what seem to be telepathic forms. You can seem to know about people specific things that do not seem like your business, but it's an opportunity, right? It's an opportunity to see how does that feel? Not I know something and it's true, because none of this is true. No, time and space isn't true. But you can have experiences that feel telepathic in nature, where you feel like you're getting information about another person, like deeper information than you should, according to how we think the world works, have access to. It does not seem like your information at all, right? It seems like theirs, and it seems like suddenly you have access to theirs. Well, for me, there's just one reason for that. The only reason is to go into that density and to release it. And it's not like, let's say, I had an experience yesterday with a gentleman at a roller rink, and it was just passing him, right? Just passing what I was perceiving as a body, and receiving information, and having to go in and get that dissolved. So their density is your density. Okay, so I thought I encountered a density in him. The word I would put on it is predatory. Without being dramatic, that's the best word I could think of. And so as I went into it, right, you're just living your life. You're on your roller skates. But you bump into, let's call it predatory. I could see kind of the animal nature, not of him, because, you're only ever looking in a mirror. The trying to calculate, the trying to secure or get for oneself, I could find it in me, and I could see that it wasn't true, and then I was led past it to this light that everybody is, and the happiness for this light. So led past the perception of the false to the true. It looked like it was particularly his false, but it never is. It never is. Their density is your density. So if we seem to bump into their density, and of course it doesn't have to take this form we might call telepathic, it doesn't matter how we bump into it. Maybe somebody looks irritable at a gas station or something. Their density is your density. So what I'm learning is to never, ever put anything on someone else. The ego will set life up so I think someone else has particular problems. And I really, really need to remember the mirror and to look through it, to remember it's false, to be taken down. It feels like down to our true foundation, where we're joined in the light, and just to have that willingness, keep it active. And then if I bump into a density, it's only my own, and it's only the opportunity to have it dissolved, and it's a good thing. So in that sense, nothing can hurt us. Nothing can hurt us. We can only be helped by what seems to surround us and what we seem to bump into. So it was really cool with this person in particular, because I was shown where we are joined, and I was shown that no interaction, in the sense we would call interaction, is needed at all. I didn't need to speak to him. I didn't need to look at him. I didn't, although that could happen, that's fine. But it's really all in mind. This gets done all in mind. And so it was just a beautiful demonstration to me of, I guess I do want to say the miracle, because it was being taken through all these perception shifts and all this dissolving, and it brought so much joy, and it was to I don't want to say to the eye, it looks like nothing at all happened, but it feels like everything, the most important thing, happened. Okay. Then I was given this. Another word for density is phantom. It's not real, but it seems real. So I ran into that, which I first called predatory, and it's not real, but it seems real. It did seem real. And if you think of yourself on a stage with characters, they're good actors. It seems real. It definitely seems real, but it's not. And eventually, that's what I get led past. First, I get to kind of stew in my belief that it is real, and I get to feel how that feels. And from that place, I find my willingness to be taken out of that, because it's very unpleasant to sit in that and to believe something wrong of another, something's wrong with somebody else, and just to believe that actually exists. That's all very, it's not happy. It's not happy. So to be, to find my willingness to be escorted out of that, my certainty, temporary certainty that there's something off about someone, is only a reflection that there's something off about me, that I have done wrong, that I have harmed and I have been harmed, that the separation occurred. That's what that is. It's the certainty, this density, I feel. It's the certainty that the separation occurred. So I shouldn't get distracted by a facet of the drama that's only inviting me in to dissolve it. So the facets of the drama invite us in to dissolve them. That includes everything we see. So the obvious is, if we look at the news, and if we, right now, what is prominent is the Ukraine and Russia, and remember that, about that density. And we can do the same work there when it's our work to do. We don't have to say, oh my gosh, this is on my to-do list, so I better think about this war. No. When we find ourselves thinking about anything and we're feeling a density, the invitation is here, and we find that it makes us much happier to go into the density, and to face it and look at it and recognize the mirror, and allow it to be dissolved and to be escorted into the light we share. Sometimes after we do this work, we can have what we would label a positive interaction with somebody. But other times it's just more like, I don't need anything from you, and you don't need anything from me. We don't need to feed upon each other. You can go in peace, and I'll go in peace, and there's happiness there too. So joining is not about drawing from bodies. We have interactions, and in those interactions, if anything feels off, there's our opportunity. But I'm really feeling lately that I really don't need to draw upon egos. And I can let them go in peace, as in let them disappear. So, yeah, it feels like there's another layer there. Okay. The weight that you can feel in your chest when you look upon them is projection. So that's interesting to see. When I'm contemplating somebody and I feel off, it's not about them. What am I feeling, that uncomfortable feeling? That's projection. Do I like projection? do I want to continue? Do I want to continue in this way? How does that feel? That's projection. It's all the ugly and untrue thoughts you believe taking form. So that's what that feeling is. It is not that there's something off or wrong about somebody else. Our ugly and untrue thoughts can take form, but we learn we don't want that. We don't need the drama. We don't need to believe that we're unequal, that we're flawed, that we don't have to take our belief that we're flawed and project it on somebody else. We don't have to take our belief that we're dangerous if we believe that the separation occurred and project it on somebody else. We don't have to do that at all. And so it's the learning not to do that, to stop when we feel the weight or the tension, to understand this is how this works, this is how projection works, and to dissolve out of it. What do you do when you have a phantom? You call an exorcist. Well, isn't that a demon? Whatever, okay? Let's say you call in somebody to help you when you have this, let's say this evil spirit. You call an exorcist. Spirit is the service that removes the phantom. So it's not like you have to avoid the human who helped you feel the density, who helped me feel the density that I carry around with me. So I'm ready to project on you at any time instead of facing my own certainty that the separation occurred and that I have harmed and I have done harm. Harm has happened. This is real. This is not an illusion. This is real. All of that I attempt to carry around with me, Spirit comes in and removes the phantom. And when I allow that, instead, when I look at that one and I feel that feeling and I realize, oh, I need help. That's just many times a day. Oh, I need help. Well, I'm going to call in the help that actually works. Then Spirit takes me down past the level of perception, down into the light where we're joined, and makes me happy. And when I'm happy, then what do I perceive? That's different. So I didn't realize I had kind of floated up into this layer of self-protectiveness and defensiveness. And so I felt and saw it when I saw that one. Spirit took me by the hand and brought me down to my foundation with that one, where we're joined, where we're one, where we're completely the same and there's no separating us. In the light, in the foundation of our light, I was happy. And what did I perceive from there? Nothing in particular. I felt very happy. It wasn't because of what I was perceiving. That's the form it took that time, It wasn't like, and suddenly the roller rink changed to, no, it was just, nothing changed. I was just very happy. Okay. You're seeing love in the form of a monster. The form is not real, but the love is. So I didn't see that one yesterday as a monster exactly, but how did I see him? As a part from me, as being weighed down by something that I wasn't weighed down by. That was the essential part of it for me, to understand that I had floated back up into the layer of self-protection, which is weighing myself down. I didn't realize I had done it. Then I had this feeling, looking at him, which is like the alert. Oh, you floated back up into self-protection and defense, and now you're seeing a threat in that one. You're thinking that one is out to get. Well, when I float back up into this layer of self-protection and defense, one of my modalities is getting, defending, getting, and avoiding. So I was just feeling that. He was just showing me, hey, This is the frequency you've gotten into, and this is how I look and feel to you right now. And the other invitation he's extending to me is, it doesn't have to be like this. You can go back down into our foundation, and you can see and feel me as I really am. And then you have no problem. You have no problem with me. You have no problem with yourself. The only reason you had some disquiet about me is you were back up into the layer where you have disquiet about yourself and all others and all things with no exceptions. That's why you felt that way. Okay, so the form is not real. Anything we see with our eyes, it's not real. Time is not real. Space is not real. It's okay that we're hallucinating, because every aspect of the hallucination can get used to bring us back into happiness. We turn our plaything, the hallucination, over to what we actually are, and what we actually are brings us back into happiness. Okay, the form is the nothingness you use to obscure love because you fear love. So if the form's not bothering me, okay, but if the form sets off this disquiet in me, then I'm using nothingness to obscure love. Love is always here. Love never leaves. Love is always accessible to everyone. And as I learn to just stay there and not leave and let it take care of everything, that trust deepens. So as I run into these situations and get brought back down into happiness, that helps me remember that happiness is here for me all the time. I can be in it all the time. It's very safe to dwell there all the time. And I don't have to float back up into the fear layer and attempt to function from there. Okay, I think that's it for today. Happy healing for you as you bump into your disquiet and you get brought back down into happiness. Thanks.